War movies usually show us the noise, the explosions, the chaos, the loss. But The Choral asks a different question. What happens to those who are left behind? Hey, I'm Gracie. Welcome to Backstage Features. This is my podcast where I talk about movies, TV, music, basically anything in entertainment I want to talk about. Set in 1916, as World War I tears families apart, a small Yorkshire town loses its men, but finds its voice. Ralph Fiennes leads a fractured choral society where grief, secrecy, and hope collide, but most importantly, where music becomes an act of resistance. Fun fact, this film did show and premiere at TIFF, so we love bringing it back to the Toronto International Film Festival. But keeping things on the choral, this film is full of heartbreak, humor, love, loss, and of course, music. In complete honesty, I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I walked into the theater, but I can say confidently when I was walking out, there was not a dry eye or a person who wasn't talking about how powerful this movie is. So with that being said, let's get into my full review of The Choral. I want to start off by saying thank you so much to my friends at Star PR and also Mongrel Media for giving me this advanced screener to the film. I was lucky enough to see this in a fully packed theater, which I think is the only suitable way to see this film, but hey, if you watch it other ways, to each their own. And let me tell you, this was such an electric experience. Although the topic matter is a bit dark and dreary, obviously it's talking about the war and how different families coped with this time, it was surprisingly funny. I have never heard so many people audibly cackle and laugh out loud during a movie that we all walked into thinking was going to be depressing. So humor is not something you have to worry about missing out on in this film. That being said, it does find the perfect balance of keeping that humor while also being realistic to what people were feeling and going through during these tough times. Obviously, people are losing husbands, sons, people are going off to war. It's just a difficult time for not only this town, but the world. So, what better way to cope with all of these hardships than bring a little community together with music? Music is universal. Everybody loves it, whether they say they don't or whether they have very specific tastes. It's something that we can all connect on. So I love the fact that this town was able to use what they were going through and turn it into art. Ralph Fiennes plays the new chorus master, Dr. Henry Guthrie, who is kind of split on the war. But despite that, the community does welcome him in hopes that they can lift their spirits through song. The choral decides to do The Dream of Gerontius, which is a bit of a controversial pick considering it usually comprises of 200 singers and a full orchestra, which in this case, they do not have. But Guthrie is open to taking on this task, and so are the townspeople. It may seem like a simple thing, but the way these townspeople come together and welcome everybody, as opposed to what the choral usually is, which is the richest of the rich and people who can help fund the choral, they welcome everybody from walks of life, from the people who can't afford it to people who have already been wounded in battle. Everyone is a part of this choir. And I think that's what makes it really special is seeing all of these different people work together for one common goal, especially when the world around them is going crazy. All of these actors are extremely talented and give such authentic performances, mixing those feelings of going through a hard time, but also wanting to be happy and create happiness. The three main boys that this movie kind of centers around are obviously dealing with the fact that they're probably going to be drafted soon, but they want to live out their childhoods and have as much fun and accomplish as many things as they can before that time. And I think it's great to see them grow and mature throughout the movie while still being able to live out what they wanted to do. With music being such a big part of this film, I do have to give a shout out to the composers and to the songwriters and everybody involved in making the music for this film. It absolutely would not be what it is without that music. It's able to fully immerse you and make you feel as though you're there watching these people go through rehearsals, go through that full performance, and actually put their heart and soul into what could be their last performance. All in all, I think this is a super beautiful watch and it's so well done. So I do recommend checking out your local movie theaters and seeing if the Choral is playing there. For people in Canada, the Choral came out on January 9th, but it will be expanding its release on January 16th, so make sure you check it out. Thank you again to Star PR and Mongrel Media, and let me know in the comments what movie I should review next.